Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. Essentially, I think what this quote is saying is your external circumstances can't sink you unless you allow them to. So think about a boat on the water, and the water and the boat work in tandem together. It's when the boat starts taking on that water from the outside that starts to allow the ship, so to speak, to sink. So I my takeaway from this is build your resilience, build and address the capability that you have to deal with your vulnerabilities, attack them head on, avoid the external pressure that always is trying to bring you down. Don't let the outside noise ooze into that boat and let your ship sink. It's easy to go down with the ship, but be better. Avoid the things that sink your ship, that bring in negativity, that all the outside noise, and just be prepared as well, because there are going to be times where your boat is going to take on water. So be prepared for that. Don't be like the Titanic with not enough lifeboats. Have the lifeboats, have ways to deal with taking on that water to get rid of it. But just remember, the ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets in them. I feel like preparation on this will help with anything. Just be prepared for anything. We talk about preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. We've talked about not your things are never as good or as bad as you think they're going to be. So essentially, don't let the water sink you, because it's not the water around you that sinks a boat. It's the water that gets in. So keep that outside noise out. Hopefully you can take something with you throughout your weeks with that. But I heard that and I was like, man, I really, really do like that. And not purposely, but this is sort of the theme we've had the past few times. So take that, enjoy your weeks, have a good week. Back to school for everybody today. That means one thing and one thing only. Football season is around the corner. And some Eagles news today. And injury news, I saw that for the most part, everybody was able to practice yesterday, minus Landon Dickerson and Tanner McKee. Now, Dickerson did not practice due to his back, not the knee. So I guess he was listed on the injury report with a back injury. So I don't know what that means. But it bodes well for him being able to play Thursday with the knee injury. Obviously, McKee is dealing with the broken finger. Likely will not be playing, will not be the backup. Sam Howell will be the backup for Jalen Hurts on Thursday. But other than that, they are relatively healthy. I did see, and I really like this, because if you grew up the way in the time that I grew up, you know that it's always the opposite of this. But CeeDee Lamb wants to be on the field and watch the Eagles banner ceremony to use it as motivation. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever think we'd be at the point, all the Cowboys hate and everything, the rivalry aside, never would have thought we'd be at the point where the Cowboys are looking to us for motivation. So I love this. Um, Watch it and then go out and get your ass kicked. But Thursday night, Thursday night football, things are looking good for the Eagles for this first game. Don't forget, dropping tomorrow morning, even before this day in Philly sports history, as long as everything goes well, will be the Brotherly Birds breakdown, getting you geared up and ready for this Eagles game on Thursday. We'll break down the game, give our 3 keys, some fantasy and betting picks. We might have some surprises throughout the season, but that will be available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube with the Brotherly Birds breakdown. Dropping tomorrow morning, likely before you even get this. And also, I forgot to say, Tuesday Motivation / Positivity is brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. We're proud members of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network here this day. So go check out clashingconferences.com to see how you can join, become involved, and what services they have to offer. All right, to the Phillies. Great win yesterday. 100% great win. 10-8. They battled back. They picked up Taiwan. Brandon Marsh was an absolute beast. Went 4 for 5. Made some plays. Harrison Bader is slowly turning into one of my favorite players. Bryce hit a home run. The bullpen was solid, but the team picked up Taiwan Walker against a very good Brewers team as well. They showed fight and didn't give up either. This was a fun game and a preview of what hopefully is to come in October. But I think the fact that the Phillies were able to it would have been easy coming off they played late on Sunday, got in, played an early game in Milwaukee or an earlier game in Milwaukee. It would have been very easy to get down 5-0 and just kind of pack it in. But they battled back, and that's what I like about this team. They showed the heart, got the lead, lost it, came back. Got the lead, lost it, ended up winning it. So like I said, this is that. I'll get it out. That game yesterday to me is what this team could be. So great win, 10-8. They have the day off today, quirky part of the schedule. I assume they wanted as many teams as possible to play yesterday for Labor Day. So they gave them the day off today. But off today, back at it Wednesday and Thursday as the Phillies look to kind of catch the Brewers there for the number 1 seed. I'm not as concerned about that as long as they get one of the top 2 seeds. But Phillies 10, Brewers 8. Great win. They're back at it tomorrow. And then to recap yesterday's question of the day, I asked, how many games do the Phillies need to win in Milwaukee? 67% of you said at least 1. Everybody else was either 1 or 2. I don't think anybody's expecting a sweep, but 1 or 2. And we got the 1, so we're playing with house money. Mets did win yesterday, so the lead in the division still is at 6. But good win for our Phillies. And then yesterday's trivia question, we talked about Curt Schilling striking out 16 back in 1997. And I asked, what is the Phillies' record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game? Because Chris Short has the record for game, and that's 18. But he did that over 15 innings. So not for a 9-inning game. A lot of people saying got Vince Velasquez had 16. Cliff Lee had 16. But the correct answer for this is Art Mahaffrey. From 1961, he had 17 strikeouts in a game. So thank you to everybody who reached out. But Art Mahaffrey, he is the Phillies' single game leader for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. All right, so quick housekeeping. I talked to you about the Brotherly Birds breakdown. That will drop tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We're recording tonight. I'm going to post it for midnight viewing. So if you're a late night owl, it'll be there for you overnight tonight. But be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott. Continue to spread the word. If you're a new listener, welcome. We are glad to have you. But the best way to stay in the loop is follow me on social media. The Discord channel is live. First link in the description. Come over and have some good Philly sports talk, especially as we are on Cowboys week. We are T-minus 3 days from Eagles Cowboys. I guess 2 if you don't count Thursday. So 2 days before Eagles Cowboys.
Want to show off your Philly pride without saying a word? Philly Goat has you covered. From tees, hoodies, shoes, and hats, their gear screams Philly louder than an Eagles fan at the vet. Whether you're tailgating in South Philly or trying to flex down the Jersey Shore, do it in style. Hit up phillygoat.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery, and get 10% off your order. Philly Goat, because being Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. Go Birds!
All right, September 2nd. First, we're going to go back to 1979. And on this day in 1979, the Eagles opened with a 23-17 win over the Giants at the Vet. Ron Jaworski with 2 touchdown passes. Wilbur Montgomery ran for 90 yards. And thanks to a 23-point second quarter, the Eagles were able to outlast their rivals. And that 23-point second quarter included a 46-yard field goal by Tony Franklin, who was a rookie, and he became the first barefoot kicker to kick a field goal in NFL history. I don't get it. I never understood it. But you had a handful of kickers who would kick barefoot, said they had a better feel for the ball, more control over it. Tony Franklin was a 67% career on his field goal, so I don't know how much control he had. But that 1979 Eagles team went 11-5, tied for first in the NFL NFC East with the Cowboys, lost the tiebreaker to them, went to the playoffs, beat the Bears in the wild card round before losing to Tampa Bay in the divisional round. But on this day, Eagles open the season with a 23-17 win over the Giants. Tony Franklin becomes the first NFL kicker to hit a field goal barefoot. Thought it had more control over it. It sounds painful if you ask me, especially on the hard vet turf in the middle of December when it's cold. But what do I know? And then we're going to go to 2011. On this day in 2011, the Phillies beat the Marlins 5-3. John Mayberry Jr. went 1 for 3 with a homer and 3 RBI. Roy Oswalt pitched 6 in the third inning, striking out 7. As the Phillies moved to 88-46, it was the first time in team history that they were 42 games over 500. They would get up as high that season as 46 games, finished 42 games over as they set the team record for wins with 102. But on this day, they beat the Marlins 5-3, moving to an incredible 42 games over 500, first time in team history. And then finally, our underrated, underappreciated athlete of the day. We're going to stick with the Eagles and go with Wilbur Montgomery, who was the star on this day back in 1979, rushing for 90 yards against the Giants. But Wilbur played 8 years in Philly, amassed 6,738 yards, which was good for the Eagles' all-time record until LaShawn McCoy broke it in 2013. Also added 45 touchdowns. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time 1,000-yard rusher. Huge in that 1980 NFC Championship game. Ran for 194 yards, including the tone setter, I guess you could call it, when he ran 42 yards to the end zone against the Cowboys. He is an Eagles Hall of Famer. But more importantly, I think he was underrated because Jaworski was a solid quarterback, tended to throw a lot of interceptions, and Wilbur Montgomery kind of gave him that balance, gave him a strong running back, often overlooked behind Harold Carmichael, Jaws, some of the guys on that defense like Bill Bergey. Really, the only time people really talk about Wilbur is that run in the 80 NFC Championship game. But he really kind of set the tone, not only for that championship game, but for that team, giving them a reliable running back, and kind of set the tone for the Eagles running backs of the future. Growing up, I always felt that the Eagles, if they had a decent running back with those Buddy Ryan teams and Randall Cunningham, they could have been better. And I think Wilbur Montgomery kind of shows you what a good running back can do and how it elevates the quarterback play. We saw it last year with Saquon and Jalen. But, I mean, there was Steve Van Buren, who was the pace setter for everything. Wilbert was able to catch him, and it wouldn't be until Brian Westbrook and LaShawn McCoy that the Eagles really had, even Deuce Staley, I guess, to a certain point, that the Eagles had a solid running back. His jersey is undefeated. The green Wilbur Montgomery jersey in the postseason, undefeated when I wear it. Got to be very careful on when I choose to wear it. But 2 Super Bowl runs, and there you go. Like, I wore it during the first Super Bowl run, wore it through the playoff run for the 22 Super Bowl. Did not wear it for the Super Bowl, though. And then you saw what happened with that, and then wore it last year, and the Eagles win. So the Wilbur Montgomery jersey is undefeated. It's a little underrated stat there for Wilbur. But he also kind of is underrated because of the time period he played in. Played with guys like Walter Payton, Otis Anderson, Campbell. Like, all of those guys were just stud running backs, and Wilbur kind of just flew under the radar. But Wilbur Montgomery is to Earl Campbell. Couldn't think of his first name, Earl Campbell. But Wilbur Montgomery is today's underrated and underappreciated athlete, Eagles Hall of Famer, star of the 1980 NFC Championship game, and really set the stage for guys like Deuce Staley, Brian Westbrook, and LaShawn McCoy. But Wilbur is our underrated, underappreciated athlete of the day. And his jersey has a little bit of magic, like Frosty the Snowman's hat. And we'll make sure we use that responsibly. On this day in 2011, Phillies beat the Marlins 5-3 to go 42 games over 500 for the first time in team history. 1979, Tony Franklin boots a 46-yard field goal, becoming the first ever barefoot kicker to hit a field goal in the NFL, which leads to today's trivia question. The Eagles are no strangers to barefoot kickers, having Tony Franklin in the late 70s, early 90s. But in the mid-80s, they had another. Who is the other barefoot kicker for the Eagles? 267-495-8531. That's a Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. But let me know. The Eagles have had 2 barefoot kickers. Tony Franklin and who? Let me know who it is. We'll have more on the Landon Dickerson back injury today, as I feel like today would be very similar to a Friday practice. So we should have a good sense on whether he's going to play or not. No Phillies game to update, which is good. They need a day off. But great win for the Phillies yesterday. 10-8, battled back, showed a little bit of heart, and those marbles that we were questioning after the Mets series. Don't forget, the ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let your ship take on water. Block it out. Block out the noise. Be prepared and just shut it out and live your life. Don't let the outside influences sink your ship. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for September 2nd, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Good luck to everyone going back to school today, including my own kids. Have yourselves a Tuesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.